It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. And it worked. We're streaming. Okay, good. Yay, streaming. Okay, I'm hitting play. Here we go.
Okay.
Welcome to Earl and the Idiot, the show that gives you the answers you need to take your business to the next level. With Earl Flormata, one of Vancouver's most sought-after business and marketing consultants, author of Business Engine Optimization, consultant to over 60 successful businesses, an all-around evil marketing genius with a combined total of more than $70 million worth of sales to his credit. And some idiot. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Cheers to that.
Hello, Earl. Been a while.
That's only been a week we missed. So
Is that it? I thought it was
it's only
two.
been a week. So
Yeah.
no, the last one was the 5th, and then 12th, and then 19th. Yeah, it's only been a week. It's only been a week. It feels like longer, but not so much.
Glad to know someone's paying attention.
Yeah,
God, yeah, I was sick last week. Like, it's really hanging on. I don't know. I don't know. I think it was this thing out of China now. The next thing they're worried about, HNPV or HPVN or HMVP. I don't know what the hell it's called,
I don't know.
but it's making their
All I
rounds
know is it's
right
it's
now.
been kicking everyone's ass around us. So yeah.
You know other people with it too?
Oh yeah, a bunch of other people had like the whatever the new super flu is. So
Yeah. It's weird because it's usually when I get sick, my usual pattern is I'll sort of be like, "I'm sick. Like, I'm getting sick." And then the next day I'm like, okay, I'm definitely sick now.
mhm,
Stay home, have the soup or whatever. And then the next day I'm like, okay, I'm getting better now. And then it's like maybe a day or two to feel fully good again.
right.
This thing is just, it's not letting go. It's just hanging on. It's like, I never got super sick. I was never like, and it wasn't like COVID. It wasn't like, flu or you're like knocked, but it just sick enough for it to be annoying. Like your head hurts, your nose is running all the time.
Hmm.
And I couldn't think. I couldn't get any work done. I'm lying around the house and I can't accomplish anything, which is annoying to,
In that brain fog space, I don't know. Like, so,
yeah. And then the brain fog is just like brain fog and low energy is just going hanging
well, the
on and
problem
on
is
and on.
I can't even watch TV or like shows because I'm just so out of it. If I'm that sick, it's just like I can't even enjoy watching like anything that requires more energy than or thought process than like The Price is Right, and that's about it. So
Yeah. That's why I got admitted reality TV shows.
exactly, spin that wheel. Anyway, here we go.
Yeah. Anyway, so if I'm only
I'm glad.
functioning at like 65% capacity today, that's why.
I'm glad. I'm glad you're back.
Thank you. Good to be back. Good to see you again.
Likewise.
How has your time been spent? Not sick, I hope, and being productive.
No, being mostly productive. So
Hmm.
yeah, crushing new things. As per usual, like when we're gonna do a show, I ping you, going, "Hey, you have any ideas you want to talk about?" Or here's three that I've encountered during the week, and today you've chosen one of the encounters.
Okay.
So yeah, it's always interesting because these are real live questions from real live businesses and real live clients. So it's just like, okay, cool. So hence the interesting prompt today.
Yeah, that's what people are really running into out there. Are you still on track to get your 100 networking events in?
Getting there. I can't remember what event I'm on now, but it's getting up there. And the fuck up nights event isn't until the end of April. So
Yeah.
hopefully I can make it before then to all
You're
100 events, but we'll see.
you're trying to hit 100 before that.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, if you fail, of course, you can just tell everyone that at fuck up nights, and you'll be
Exactly.
on topic.
But the neat part is even if I fail, right? Like the concept was if I go to 100 networking events and find 3 to 5 people per event, I'll have met and shook hands with 3 to 500 people. Even if I crap the bed and only do like 100, that's
Mhm.
still a full room of people at the event. So we're doing okay.
Nice. Do you want to tell people about fuck up nights? You want to advertise it?
Yeah, sure. So it's the anti TED Talk. So pretty much, right? So instead of, an entrepreneur going up and telling you inspiring stories and how great they are, they actually tell you how they screwed up and screwed the pooch, and hence why the
Mhm.
name's called Fuck Up Nights. So it started out in Mexico, where these people were sick of watching motivational talkers, and it's like, okay, well, instead of wanting to listen to yet another motivational speaker, they're like, no, no, I want to hear your screw ups, because then those are real lessons learned, right? And so yeah, so Fuck Up Nights was born. Anyway, I spoke at it right before COVID. So we were just talking about COVID. So on 2019, I spoke on their stage here in Vancouver.
Mhm.
And then what happened was the license went up for renewal and nobody wanted it. And so because the whole lockdown thing. And so lo and behold, we started running these B&M events, hence the big ass sign behind my head, right? And so that you hung. So, one of the things that we started talking about was just like, hey, I wonder if anyone's got this license. And so we inquired and nobody had it. So we took it. And so now we have this giant sign that's the size of like all of my stuff behind me. It's like almost 2 meters wide. So
Hmm.
I don't know how we're gonna hang it. So we already fucked up. But
Just yeah, do a bad job of hanging it. Like have it loose and like one corner's flopped over and it's not
kind of
level.
hang in. Yeah, yeah. That make it's
And
on brand and makes it more funny. But
the best part though would be if you timed it so you walk out, everyone, welcome to fuck, and it collapses, like it falls down as soon as you gesture towards the sign, have it
right, right.
collapse.
So well, I don't want it to fall down because it was like $1,000. I don't want it to I don't
Oh,
want it to fall down. But it's huge. It's like humongous. And we bought it from that funny guy on the internet. So that funny sign guy who's been taking over the internet. I don't know if you've seen him. Um,
oh, that's the guy who like takes the viral videos and responds to them.
yeah, that's the one.
He's got the magnetic like neon signs that he sticks on the board.
Yeah, same guy. So we
It
bought
looks like
him.
he's going to spell something rude, but he's actually spelling something else.
That's the guy. I love
That
him.
guy has taken over the
So
internet. You're right.
he's taken over the internet, and so we love him so much. We bought our sign from him. So there you go. It's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a fun experience. And so we've got one coming up in April, and then potentially another one coming up in May if we can get the sponsorship together for it. So yeah, if we can pull that off, then we'll do back to backs, and then we'll take a break for the summer, then come back again in the fall and do it again. So
That's cool. I remember having that exact thought when I was sort of entering the world of business and realizing, screwing something up and kind of realizing, oh, everybody screwed something up at some point. There's no successful person on the planet who doesn't have a big fuck up in their past.
people
You know?
think that businesses are more well put together than they actually are, right? Like when I actually got into the real business, I'm, wow, everything's screwed up. And I'm like, maybe it's just us. And then I switched positions, switched chairs, switched seats, switched everything, and everybody's fucked. So no one knows what they're doing, and everyone's just kind of flying by the seat of their pants. Most for the most part. So it's
Yeah,
kind of crazy how that works. So hence, fuck up nights. So
yeah.
it's a
I
it's a
remember,
it's a time for the business community to get together and talk about, just share some magnificent stories.
yeah, and it makes success in business seem a little more approachable because there's going to be fuck ups on the way, and you're not supposed to worry about that.
Hmm.
You're not supposed to. It doesn't. It's not the end of the world if that happens because it's happened to everybody, every successful person.
Pretty much, pretty much.
Nice. All right. Cool. So where can people get tickets?
If you just look us up on Facebook or on LinkedIn, you can find Fuck Up Nights Vancouver, and you
All
can
right.
find us on there. And then eventually we'll have them on the B&M site. So yeah,
All right. Not on Eventbrite yet?
we're looking at it. We have to use this thing called Ticket Tailor, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. So we might just ditch it and use Eventbrite anyways. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Fair enough. Cool. There you go. Free advertising on your own platform.
Yeah, it works. So shall
Uh,
we right in?
yeah, let's dive right into it. Well, let's tell everyone about the show. So this is Earl and the Idiot. We have Earl here. This very well, you heard all of his fancy accomplishments in the intro. Um, and I'm here to ask him stupid questions and get smart answers from him. And what we start with for the framework of our show is we actually, like you said earlier, whatever problems we've encountered in our real businesses and real lives and real people we've met in the week, we pick a topic for the show, and then we get ChatGPT to write out our show outline
Mhm.
and kind of answer the question, and then we go over what it's laid out for us, and we sort of talk about whether it's right, wrong, why it's right, why it's wrong, and
Yeah, and so I
yeah,
like this whole 3-2-1 structure. Right, it's kind of
yeah,
fun.
it's good. It's good. It feels because it's the funnel shape. You sort of start more
Yeah,
broad and more narrow. Um, and I'm here to throw in fart jokes along the way to make it more fun to listen to.
Absolutely.
So this is interesting. And then I create my background with AI um, to to differentiate the show. So you can look at the show thumbnail and you know what show it was.
Hmm.
And I just thought it was interesting. We're talking about joint ventures today, and I had a handshake. It's getting pretty good. Hang on, there is a rogue finger right here. So we got one, two, three, four, and then what's this,
Okay.
right? But and then this kind of looks like three fingers. There might be a fourth in there. We don't know. Thumb's in the right spot. It's that was a thing it could not
It's come a
master
long
before.
way
Yeah,
before back in the day. You ask it feel like this like weird whatever gang sign
yeah.
thing
And I real hard time with fingers. It's
that the
the
normal
the
human
the,
can't.
the rate of improvement is terrifying and impressive.
I heard that an AI controlling a robot passed the grape test,
The
and the grape
grape test?
test, yeah, for surgeons to be able to stitch up a grape without screwing it
Oh
up.
wow, yeah,
So I'm like, wait, it can do the grape test now? Holy crap! Right? Like that's precise. So
yeah. I think there's huge things to be done in medicine. I don't want to see doctors lose their jobs, but at the same time, I also want to see the medical system become more effective. And it seems
well,
like
the doctor could be the overseer of the robots and just make sure that the robots don't kill too many people. So
yeah, but it's like the diagnosis seems like a really great way to use AI. Like you just punch in your
yeah,
symptoms and it goes kind of sounds like this. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely, absolutely.
it's
Well, there's some
they've already tried it. It's pretty accurate.
stuff that AI just does that's better than human, right? But right now, as everything stands, we still need the human to man the darn thing. So yeah.
Yeah, and then you got the AI is not taking your blood pressure or can't look at your pallor. I guess it probably can.
Hmm.
I'm just grasping at straws here, trying to make sure humans stay useful in the years ahead. But okay, we're talking joint ventures, and
Yeah,
there's
but weird joint ventures. Like this was a weird topic.
oh yeah, a specific niche of joint ventures, and that is specifically joint venturing with your competition.
Hmm.
Do you want to tell the story of how this question came about, or is it
It was
confidential?
because there's a whack ton of people in the same space in the same room. I think there was one room where there were like 17 mortgage brokers all in the same room, and they're like, well, I was teaching joint ventures, and like, how do we joint venture with each other? I'm like, well, technically, aren't you guys competitors? And they're like, well, yeah. And so I had to come up with a bunch of ideas around joint venturing with competitors on the spot. I'm like, well, shit, all right, but
Nice.
they failed to stump me because I stole the three things I told them for the hack of the week. So there you go. So yeah.
All righty. So we asked GET, I need another hand with Earl and the Idiot. Today's topic is how to do joint ventures with competitors in your business space. So, three things to work on, two things to avoid, and one right out tip in the space. Here's your breakdown: how to do joint ventures with competitors. Three things to work on. One, find a common enemy. Oh, that's good.
Hmm.
That's that's I like that. Finding a common enemy, that always works. Um, your biggest competitor isn't necessarily the business across the street, it's inaction, ignorance, or a market that doesn't even know your industry exists. Example, two SEO agents might compete for clients, but if they collaborate to educate businesses about the importance of SEO, they can expand the market instead of fighting over scraps. There's that old saying, that it's more applicable in the Cold War, but it was like, if you have a Russian and an American fighting each other, if an alien suddenly landed and attacked Earth, the Russian and the American would discover their friends in a real hurry.
Exactly, and then they fight the alien off, right? So yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Finding a common enemy is a really strong structure, right? There's only so many story archetypes, and one of the strongest story archetypes is called us versus them, right? And that definition of us is defined however you want to do it, right? So, like I said, there were like 17 mortgage brokers in the same room. So instead of having a brawl break out, it's like, oh, here's how you guys work together and do this sort of thing. And so finding that common enemy, right? So, and the common enemy technique, it's good because it solidifies everyone and it gets everyone to row the boat in the same direction. That's super
Mm.
important because half the time when you have like a multi directional bajillion people there, there's too many leaders, right? There's too many chiefs and not enough people to follow stuff, so it just ends up being a mess. So but having that common enemy kind of aligns everybody to make everyone go the same direction all at once, right? And
Hmm.
so yeah, definitely finding a common enemy for sure.
What would
Um,
you tell the mortgage brokers their common enemy was?
the common enemy for the mortgage brokers would be finding someone who doesn't know what they're doing for that particular mortgage space, right? So one of the things I suggested was, why don't you guys all start a newsletter, right? Because
Hmm.
there's one mortgage guy, he specializes in commercial, but it's only commercial for warehousing, so that sort of thing. And another mortgage broker specialized in, like residential, just the regular people just getting a mortgage, right? And then another mortgage broker represented, like, retail, like giant retail stores or whatever. Another one that was
Hmm.
specific to small retail. I'm like, wait, the small retail and the big retail guys, you guys fight over the same clients? And like, well, not really, but there's some contentious spots in the middle. I'm like, well, then why don't you just build a newsletter where you're all experts, you put each other on a pedestal, and now everybody wins, right?
Hmm.
So you kind of got that. And then what happens is that it's now you get way more reach because everyone's banding together, because everyone's spending these marketing dollars, right? And most mortgage brokers I know completely suck at marketing. So because that's the case, they always have like garbage for like a marketing budget. So
Hmm.
when a bunch of them batch together, oh, look, it's a real marketing budget, go kick some ass, right? And now you can, because you have the firepower to do so.
Yeah, this sounds a little bit like step two, which is carve out complementary niches.
Okay.
But is the common enemy in the mortgage broker space, is that the inability to market mortgage
Yeah.
mortgage brokering?
Well, there's a lot of people in the financial services space, and I'm calling you all out, right? And most of
Hmm.
you are really good with numbers, but you're awkward as fuck with people, right? And which means that your messaging is terrible, which means that your marketing is terrible, right? So you can, and because you don't make enough or you don't pull enough together, you don't have the capacity or the firepower or the budget by which to hire a competent marketing guy. And then so they hire a bunch of really cheap, crappy marketing people. Then they go, "Oh, marketing doesn't work." Well, you hired the cheapest guy ever at the lowest budget with the lowest structure with the worst message in the universe. Of course, it's going to fail, right? Like, yeah, it's just everything is stacked against you. But you band together and you're stronger, right? So that whole common enemy of ignorance and this and that, yeah, that's true, right? Because a lot of the stuff is, it's easier to sell people shit they already know, right? So if they understand something, like, this is a sandwich, you eat it. Oh yeah, I've seen one of those before. I know what to do
Yeah.
here.
Hmm.
So, but then when you show them some weird new food that are like, what the hell is that? Right? Like, half the time I take Bryce out for food.
Hmm.
He says he's worldly, but he is not. I saw him. So hey, check this out. He's like, what the hell? He doesn't eat it, right? The guy doesn't eat, like, a lot of stuff. Like, he doesn't eat tomatoes, but he'll eat ketchup because he's weird.
Hmm.
But yeah. So again, just goes back to, it's educating people on, hey, this is how this stuff works, and if you can do these things properly, you win, right? So finding a common enemy, totally cool. Really good way to do stuff.
All right. Let's go on to step two, which you were talking about earlier. Carve out complementary niches.
It's
Don't
good that I
over this.
pre-read these things, right?
Yeah, right. Don't fight over the same slice. Bake a bigger pie. Example, a high-end web design firm and a budget website builder could refer clients to each other. Premium leads go one way, budget-conscious leads go to the other. Both win. I actually created that very joint venture with one of my friends who has a higher-end website design company.
Oh yeah. So he sends you the little guys and you send them the big guys.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just
Beautiful.
recently fired that up, but he's a friend of mine. I've known him for years, and I was like, "Oh, you do website design as well?" And he's got a whole firm with employees. I'm just me and my friend. Um, he's got a whole going concern over there, so he's definitely doing bigger projects for higher end
Hmm.
clients. Okay,
But that's
give
a
me.
good fit though, right? Because at certain levels of scale, right? Like, when I had a web design firm back in the day and we had like a bajillion people working for us, you can't take the little jobs because there's too much administrative headache. And it doesn't
Mhm.
actually make sense. So we end up losing money on the smaller job. So like, if it's like a $500,000 job, it's the admin that it takes for that is the same amount of admin that it took for like a $20,000 website. So, why don't we just do the big ones? Because, it makes sense. And we actually burn money on the small ones. So it didn't make sense. So yeah, don't fighting over the same, not fighting over the same slice of pie, bake a bigger pie. Absolutely. Yes. Right. So, back to the room full of mortgage brokers, right? If all, let's say 10 of them want to play together and they all have 1,000 reach each, right? Now they have 10,000 reach, right?
Yeah,
And you're going to end up going with the person who is the most specialist in your field. And because you've expanded the top of the funnel, everybody gets more, right? And because everyone's combining their ad budgets together, now you just get better reach for stuff. So ta-da, it makes sense. Make a bigger pie. Absolutely. Yes, 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 to all of the above.
Nice. Do you have any well, you were just talking about mortgage brokers. Some do retail, large commercials, some do small commercials, some do.
Mhm.
So is this one of the main ways? Like, you're basically, when you get a lead that doesn't fit your niche, you can pass it on to a competitor in your market who
Yeah.
does that person, and then you get the commission for it too, right?
Absolutely, right? There's nothing wrong with so let's use another niche market. Let's use lawyers as an example, right?
Hmm.
Because lawyers, there's not really necessarily a generic type lawyer. Lawyers typically end up falling into a particular niche where they're really good at that one thing, right? Like
Hmm.
there's divorce lawyer, right? That all they do is they handle divorce. There's another lawyer that all they do is they handle intellectual property. Those are very different things, right? And so to get the specialty within those things, those lawyers should probably bake a bigger pie, make the whole legal thing stick out more. And so if you have this problem, right, if you ran your car into somebody, Dave is really good at that. And if you need to sue somebody, then Steve is really good at that. And then so you've got these different people in different complementary niches. And then, and then the common ground is hire our law firm, right? Or hire our law joint venture conglomerate where we're all holding hands and singing kumbaya, right? Because certain people are just better at certain things. You can't be good at everything, right? So
Yes, I can. I'm gonna try. I skipped ahead a little bit to make sure you hadn't covered this elsewhere, but there's also the concept of giving your competitors the leads that you hate or sound like people you don't want to work with.
right. And so there's also ways to do that too. Like um it's gonna give away, you know what? Fuck it, we'll push the button. Here we go.
Oh, is it in the hack of the week bonus? I
So
thought I looked ahead to the hack of the week. I didn't see it there. Is it there?
the bonus thingy is in the joint venture space, right? Like there's a lot of people who you're competing with as well. And this is kind of a dirty hack and not a real joint venture, but it's a dirty hack. It still works. Sell your shittiest clients to your competitors, right? And what happens is the competitors are happy because they get leads and cash flow. You're happy because the monkey's off your back, right?
And you get a commission.
And if we do this, right, like and that lets you focus on your good customers and bringing in all good customers, you have a happier day, and your customer deals with the monkey, right? So the competitor
Throw it
deals
right
with
on their back.
well, yeah, the competitor deals with the hard to deal with client, right? So now it slows them down in terms of hunting for new spaces in the market. So it's not really a joint venture play, but it is a thing that you can do to your competitor, where your competitor thanks you, pays you, and takes the bad thing away from you, right? So I've always enjoyed that sort of style, right? It's funnier that way, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
well,
That's
we
why
we,
we do
we
things
train
around here.
martial arts, right? And I thoroughly enjoy the ones where I take your stick and beat you with your own stick. It's funny, right?
Nice.
So it's a much more it's a funnier experience, right? So
Mm.
demeaning for the bad guy, but that's kind of the point, right?
Yeah. All right. On to number three, leverage shared resources. Pool assets like software, ad spend, events, or content. Example, competing real estate agents could co-host a first-time buyer seminar. They split the cost but gain double the exposure.
Well, yeah, because now you only need one radio ad. Now you
Mhm.
only need one bench. Now you only need one whatever, right? Event space. So when you pool those leveraged assets. So I know we talked about this back in the day and one of the previous podcasts where it was, why don't you grab a bunch of your other people in your certain space and then run your customer appreciation days together, right?
Mhm.
So that way there's only one venue and you only have to fill one stomach, right? Because if you both ran them separately, now you have to pay for two venues and fill the stomach twice, right?
Right.
So because now there's two events. So yeah, it's you only need one DJ for two people coming together, right? So that way you're not hiring separate DJs to do everything separately. So co-hosting, yeah, it makes absolute sense.
What does it mean, software? Like some kind of CRM system or what?
So pooling assets like software, an example would be if I was an accounting firm, right? So to buy a net new accounting firm software would cost X but to add another seat on the platform would only cost like half a X,
Hmm.
right? And so when you're talking about like larger scale software platforms that are like 20 grand, half of 20 grand is 10. So now you're only paying 30 together, which means you're paying 15. Otherwise, you both would be paying 20. Why not save $5,000 and just do it together? Right. So
Sounds pretty smart.
$5,000 saving on a handshake, as long as you guys obviously there's just rules to be followed, right? Yeah, absolutely. There's a handshake, but there's rules to be followed, right? So there's risk and reward in that. The risk is your partner stabs you in the back and changes the password on you, and you can't get in. Now he has all your clients, and you can't get at them, right? So there's good and there's bad for these leveraging shared resources. So yes, you can be careful, right? Like make sure that
Better make sure you trust them and you get an airtight contract signed.
absolutely, right?
That's why I chose the perfect background. There's a contract on the desk and they're shaking hands.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, leveraging shared resources, it's a good thing. I mean, and it just saves people money, right? So $5,000 a month each in savings is it's no small thing. Even if it's $5,000 a year in savings, it's no small thing. If you
Yeah.
took the 50 minutes to sign a contract and make it happen. So
Nice.
hmm.
Um, two things to avoid. Number one, giving away your secret sauce. Share opportunities, not proprietary strategies. Example, if you're running a successful ad funnel, don't teach your competitors your exact formula. Just work together on broader campaigns.
Agreed. So part of what makes you different in the market is your market dominating position. It's the thing that sets you apart. It's your unique sales proposal. It's your special sauce. It's your special way of doing things. It's your special process to do stuff, right? So there's a lot of people out there who do very similar stuff to what I do, right? In terms of like media and media chopping and all that kind of jazz. But we have some secret sauce that makes ours 5%, 10%, just a little smidge better, right? And that's the name of the game sometimes, right? It's the old joke, two guys running away from a bear, one guy ties his shoes, right? I don't have to beat you. I don't have to beat the bear. I just have to beat you, right? And so that's the trick. So don't necessarily give away all of your best stuff to your competitor, right? Like expand the pie, but don't teach them the special thing that you do to make your pie crust extra toasty.
Your magic pie sauce.
That's right. Speaking of pies, it was Pie Day just like 5 days ago.
Yeah, I know we failed to celebrate. I mentioned it in the morning and didn't get around to it. We have a. You ever been to the Pie Hole?
Yes,
Yeah, excellent, excellent.
love that place. And
Yeah,
we also
it's
like
fairly close to us.
peaked pies
What's
is
that?
also
Peaked pie?
yeah peaked pies.
All
So
right.
it's a meat pie and they peak it with like a scoop of like it's like peas and like mashed potato. So they peak the pie and then they slap gravy on top of it and it's delicious. So there you go.
Pie Hole had like a Christmas dinner pie
Mhm.
where it's like turkey, mashed potatoes,
Oh,
stuffing,
nice.
and cranberry sauce. Oh my,
I've had it. It's fantastic.
yeah.
So here's a bonus tip for you.
Oh, nice.
Across the parking lot from the pie hole,
Hmm.
there is the best steam and sauna place in the city.
Really?
Yeah,
The one in New West?
they have 8 different rooms for steam and sauna kind of thing. Some of them are wet and some of them are dry, and it's freaking awesome. It's $50 for 2 hours. So
That's across from the Pie Hole in New West?
yes, sir.
Dang, never even noticed.
So I've never seen anything like it in the entire world. Like it's the only place I've ever seen that has this. And so yeah, it's glorious.
Hmm.
Cool way to chill for 2 hours. So
Dang. Just thinking that might be nice actually.
yeah.
We just got our gym membership, so now we use their massage chairs and their hydro massage beds.
Oh, those are
Now we
fun.
getting the red light treatment.
Oh yeah, I literally have a little red. When you set up my desk, there's a red light box right here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then we
Nice.
have a giant one that's like the size of like my chair. So
Oh, cool.
yeah.
This is like 360 degrees all around you. Standing, unfortunately, you don't get to lay down in it. But
Hmm.
and I've used it like 4 or 5 times. And this time before I went, they're like, "Do you have your eye protection?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "We can't
Oh,
let
it's
you
the
use it
fourth
without eye
time, and I
protection."
never taught you about the eye
Yeah,
protection.
Like, oh,
That's
here, do
good.
you want to buy some eye protection? I'm like, I guess I do.
A little bit, yeah. So the lasers don't get you. Yeah.
That red light's hot stuff though. We got a helmet for it. And believe it or not, this is a lot more hair than I used to have.
Yeah, yeah. A buddy of mine has thinning hair as well, and he got one of those red light hats, and it worked like a hot damn. He's got a full head of hair again. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I'm on my way. Got to be more diligent about it. But I was this close to just Bruce Willising the whole thing and just shaving it right off.
Okay, fair
Now it's
enough.
like,
Okay.
I got
You
a
can
few more years
save it.
yet.
You can
Yeah,
save it.
exactly. All right. Sorry, distracted.
Railed a little.
Uh,
Okay.
oh, number two thing to avoid: a one-sided partnership. A joint
Uh-huh.
venture should be mutually beneficial, not one business getting all the leads while the other does all the work. Well, that does not sound good at all. Example: if a competitor asks to collaborate in quotes,
Right.
but just wants to cherry pick your clients, that's not a joint venture. That's a hostile takeover with a handshake. Insightful,
I,
ChatGPT.
I like I think ChatGPT has a sense of humor sometimes. So hostile
Yeah.
takeover with a handshake is funny.
Can't
So
wait till
one
I can't
sided.
wait till we program it with all our shows that it can actually start mimicking your sense of humor.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it just throws the word blueberries in there for no fucking reason at all. It's
Yeah.
just like
Secret.
because those are funny because it's a secret. Anyway, so one-sided partnerships, yeah, gotta be careful with those, right? Like, it could actually put you out of business, right?
Mm.
So there's joint ventures. Like even my late father, right? He had a joint venture partner that took over the office when we moved from Edmonton to Vancouver. We used to have a bunch of appliance stores, and one of those joint venture partners ended up stabbing him in the back and stealing all the money. So you got to be
Oh,
careful with those sort of things. So absolutely. So one-sided partnerships are a real thing. They do exist. People get taken advantage of all the time. You just got to make sure that you're doing the work and you're getting a fair split, right? You're getting a fair split. So it just depends on, what's the nature of the relationship, right? Is it an actual joint venture partnership, and the keyword being partnership? Then it should be 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, something like that, right? Where it still feels even as long as the amount of work that you're putting in still feels good. If you're getting
mm,
70-30 and you're the 30 side, but you're not doing a lot of work, but you're still getting business out of it, it's still worth it, right?
yeah.
Still makes sense. But if it's like, starts to go to like 90-10, and you're doing some work and you're not feeling appreciated, then take retake a look at your joint venture partner. Maybe it's time to switch partners on the dance floor.
Mm. Maybe we should do a show on how to break up with your joint venture partner.
The joint venture breakup series.
3 tips to best practices for breaking up with your joint venture business partner. Maybe recognizing when it's time to go. It's starting to sound
Yeah,
like a Cosmo article. I don't know when your relationship is over. 3
maybe.
best practices for letting your partner go. All right, so here we have from ChatGPT on the subject of joint venturing with your competitors. Red hot tip: compete on brand, not on offer. People buy from who they trust. 2 companies can sell the same product, but brand voice, personality, and positioning create differentiation. Example: Nike and Adidas both sell shoes, but one sells victory, the other sells creativity. Hmm. Your joint venture should amplify your brand while serving the market better, not just blur the lines between you and your competitor.
Okay, so I agree and half disagree with this. So
Alrighty.
where it says that it shouldn't just blur the lines between you and competitor, absolutely. Like you have to have still two different identities in the mix, right? Where like we were just talking about, realtors or mortgage brokers. One does really big ass commercial things and one does smaller projects. You do smaller websites, that a guy does a gajillion dollar website. So cool, and mix and match and vice versa. But where it says compete on brand, not on offer, I don't agree with that, right? And the
Hmm.
examples it gave were Nike and Adidas, right? Those guys can play with brand because they have a brand, right? Most small businesses, like the little flower shop down the street, don't have a brand. Yeah, yeah, it's called whatever florist place on whatever street, but there's no real brand there. So it says don't compete on brand, not on offer. No, I disagree. For the smaller guys, you compete on offer because that's all you got, right? There is no brand. There's no brand recognition for the little guy, right? If that's
Hmm.
all you got, I mean, that's all you got. You're not McDonald's, right? No one's going to see the golden arches and go think French fries. Oh my god, we need
That,
some of those.
that's one of my
So,
big pet peeves in advertising, particularly advertising you see on trucks driving around.
mhm.
It'll be a truck driving by with a logo painted on the side, and it'll be like Zuby Bop Inc. And you're like, I am no further ahead. I know nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. right? And
The
then
best
same thing
the
with
best one
like,
I saw was Tubs to Go. It was called Tubs to Go. Hot tubs where you need them. I'm like, great, I'm informed. I know exactly what's going on.
yeah, but that makes sense. That's an offer, right? It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, I know who you are, I know what you do. If I need a hot tub, I'm calling you because I
right.
hot tub, right? That makes sense. But that's an offer, not a brand necessarily. And some people don't cook their messaging into their brand, and because they
Hmm.
don't have a brand, you're trying to compete with the likes of Nike and Adidas. You're not going to win, right? It's not going to happen. Okay, so the offer is everything when you're still in the small phases. So I just agree with this one. So if you're a giant, humongous player, yeah, go brand because you can go brand versus brand and pick that fight. But if you're David versus Goliath, right, and you're the David side, not the Goliath side, the Goliath is going to squish you if you go brand versus brand. If they go, hey, we're well known, and who the hell is this guy? You're going to lose that fight, right? But the offer, right? The offer is what makes you differentiate for the small space, right? And like,
Right.
most of the business is small business. So unless you're like medium to large size, don't go picking a fight with the brand giant who's going to kick your ass and can just crush you in advertising, right? The offer is the thing. So, absolutely. So, I
Nice.
disagree on this one.
And when you talk about brand versus brand, that famous story or that famous question of who lost the cola battle between Pepsi and Coke?
Oh, let's hear
Seven
your take.
Up. 7 Up.
Yeah. 7 Up was just
Pe-
swallowed in the mix, right?
yeah, well, Pepsi and Coke, it became so in everyone's mind. Which one do you prefer, Pepsi or Coke? Make a decision. Pepsi or Coke, which one is it? Eliminating the concept of drinking a third option. So
Right.
7 Up actually lost their market share, and Coke and Pepsi percentage wise stayed exactly the same. But together as the cola offerers, they
Yes.
took more of the market of soft drinks.
Absolutely. Yeah. So,
I love
so
that
sorry,
story.
7 Up. Although I actually started drinking 7 Up Zero lately, which is
Hmm.
interesting.
Find it too sweet. Have you seen people doing the Sprite challenge?
The Sprite challenge. What's the Sprite challenge? I know the Coke Pepsi
Uh,
challenge. What's the Sprite challenge?
the Sprite challenge is it's amazing. It's some of the best content I've ever seen. Apparently, for some reason, I don't know why. I don't know if Sprite's different or whatever, but it's always the Sprite challenge. You're just supposed to chug a 500 milliliter Sprite, and the burps you get out of these things, unreal. Like the funniest part is watching people let loose these belches that sound like they're rumbling out of the depths of hell, and the look on their face and the faces of their friends when they're like they themselves are surprised that they could burp like that.
Yeah. See, now,
It's
now we have to
phenomenal.
do this. We have to go meet up and go get some Sprite and do the Sprite challenge and videotape this shit.
No,
That's
we need to do it live on air on an episode of Earl and the Idiot. We need to do a spray chat.
well. Next time we go to the park and fight with sticks, we'll bring two Sprites. We'll do that. We'll video
There
it,
you
and
go.
then we'll put that on the show, right?
While we're fighting with sticks, we'll chug sprites.
it's gonna be your battle cry, right? And then afterwards, when we swing sticks at each other, hit each other, we'll throw up,
Holding
right?
the sword up high,
That-
belching from the very depths. That's a good idea. I like that.
so that's funny.
Uh,
Cool.
okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Hack of the week.
Hack of the week. So
Hack of the
I
week.
came up with three. Because this
All
this
right.
was the actual thing. So we were in
Hacks of the week.
multiple.
Yeah.
So the first one was deadlist trades. Okay.
Okay, which we discussed.
We discussed, yeah, like earlier on and previous episodes, deadlist trades. If you have a bunch of
Hmm.
dead contacts that have never spoken to you or ever bought from you ever, sell
Mhm.
them to your competitors and buy their dead list, right? Or just trade, right? Why? Well, they're completely useless to you. They haven't bought anything. You're sending them newsletters. All they're going to do is unsubscribe eventually, right?
Mhm.
So why not swap your lists with other guys, right? And then try different techniques and different offers because you might say something that's the exact same thing, but just different enough that makes their attention. Or maybe, it's a timing thing, right? And your competitor hasn't followed up with their dead list, and then you have a stronger follow-up architecture and you follow up a little better. There's some sales in that mix still, right? That can be found. So the next one being the newsletter. We talked about the newsletter, combining everyone's forces together to build a newsletter, and then everyone just specialty. And now you
Mhm.
have this industry specific newsletter on whatever the hell you're doing, right? Like there was one time we were in a room with a bunch of people in the practical, just medical practitioner health space, right?
Mhm.
So we had a chiropractor, we had an RMT, right? We had an acupuncturist. These guys aren't fighting for the same types of people. And the funny thing is, depending on your structure for your package for if you've got like coverage for this sort of thing, like the chiropractor and then the acupuncturist and the RMT are different things on your package, and you can get all three of them. And there might be a way to spread that out, right? So like there's a deal right now on Hastings at a Thai massage place that because they're not RMT, you can't use them for an RMT, thing, but they have acupuncture there. And so
Mm.
what they do is they just give you a partial deal on half massage, half acupuncture, and you put under the acupuncture thing on the thing, and you can get the entire thing written off or taken care of by your package, right? It's just there's ways to do that. So newsletter definitely is a good way to go about partnering with your competitors. And we did talk about this, and the AI actually gave this because clearly I don't read the AI part, but specialization, right? So our mutual friend Reza, who does accounting stuff, right? He does accounting bookkeeping stuff. He
Yeah.
has this magical thing that he rips back 10 years and finds all your tax oopsies and boo-boos, right? That's a specialty thing. There's not a lot of people who do that. Okay. So because he's got that weird specialty thing, it makes sense to do a joint venture with Reza if you're another accountant. Like, why would an accountant have another accountant and sing kumbaya together? Well, he has this weird thing that nobody else does. So, you know, find your clients a giant pile of money. He gets that piece of business, and then you get the regular business moving forward, right? So there's a lot of ways to work with your competitors, right? Even though they're your competitors, if you guys are still friends, right, and you don't hate each other, then there's a lot of cool things that you can do working together. And then the funny thing is, it becomes a bigger us versus a bigger them, right? And because you guys are teaming up, your economies of scale, your budgets for marketing, everything works a little bit better,
Mm.
right? Because now you can actually afford the good stuff. Like there was before Uber and before Car2Go and before all the driving and sharing things came into town, we made a mad plea to all of the Vancouver taxi companies and said, "Look, they're coming. They're gonna get here. Yo, your guys' apps suck, right?" And like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but we'll just make it better." I'm like, "Your budget will never compete against an Uber, but if all of you banded together and made something, you'd have a competitor that could actually stand up a chance." They didn't do it,
Mhm.
right? And then
Yeah,
now they're all complaining.
it would have been so easy. Just you're already a taxi company. You have all the personnel, you have all the cars, you have all the brand recognition. All you
Mhm.
got to do is make an app that acts like Uber does.
And it's not that hard to do. It's just I
It's not
want to order.
complicated.
Yeah, I need to order a car here. That's it. And then I
Yeah.
want to go there. That's it. And take my money.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
Don't make me talk to the cab driver.
it's not it's
No,
not
no, no, no talking, no tips. You just get in, you get out, you're done.
and it works, right? So and they would have been able to build something strong enough to withstand Uber, right? If they had built it in time, and if they built it in time and then done it by like the Olympics, this is now years and years ago,
Yeah.
they would have had a gigantic head start, right? And then if they did a joint venture, which is where the tie-in comes from, with
Mhm.
like the travel industry, and all the travel industry people said, "Hey, it's really easy to grab a cab in Vancouver. Just download this app, and then there's your joint venture." You win and you can keep Uber at bay, right? And the consumer wins because the pricing goes down because everybody's still in the same kind of bandwagon, et cetera, et cetera. But
Yeah.
that's it. So
And
specializations, yeah.
And even with the working with your competitors thing, if they created a single app, got five, six, or all the cab companies to go in on it, that increases the likelihood that a person's going to get a cab in time because the call can be answered by any one of the available cabs.
Correct. And not just that, it also kills the issue of cabs stealing fares from other cities where it's not their turf,
Right.
right? So it would enforce compliance and everybody would be happy because no one's stealing rides, right? So, because Richmond Cabco is not allowed to pick up in Burnaby or whatever, right? And so, like, there's a
Yeah.
freaking car right there, and it's empty, and it's driving back to. I can't jump in it because I'm trying to get to Richmond. That's stupid. So, yeah,
Yeah.
there should be rules and sets, and then the
And
app can.
it's just like if you have more cabs in Richmond, you're more likely to get the rides in Richmond.
Yeah, but if I'm already going to Richmond, give me a Richmond cab because they have to go back anyways. Like this is
Yeah.
a green initiative that saves the city CO2, right? And then we pay less carbon tax. Great. So there's a lot of
Mhm.
things that could have happened had they done the joint venture with their competitors. Because there's another one. Oh my God, this both of these things give me PTSD. The
Mhm.
other one is the Remax. Because there are a bajillion Remax offices, and every single one of them wanted their own stupid app, and none of them had the budget to do it. But if they all banded together, they could have the most amazing app, and Remax could have crushed everybody else, but they didn't do it. So now they have like 35 really terrible apps, right? And not one good one. Um, but yeah, if they just banded together, you guys are all flying the same freaking banner too, right? Like you should all have gotten together instead of spending, $5,000 a piece. There were like 100 of you, right? You could have spent 500,000 to have the best freaking app in the universe, right? But no, we all want our own. Guys, it's all the same balloon. So when you look at them all, I can't tell them apart, right? Because it's like, wait,
Yeah.
which product is this? Right, it's the
I
Remax one.
I'm
Great.
only just now learning they're not all the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there you go. So anyway, food for
All right.
thought. But
Lessons learned, everybody.
So play nice, right? It makes more money. Play nice. It makes more money.
Exactly. We're all in this together. Okay, I guess that's it. Here's time. Any closing words, any final thoughts, or is just play nice? Play nice is a pretty good note to
I
go out on.
think the play nice thing works, right? Because you make more money playing nice than you do playing dirty, right?
Hmm.
So yeah.
Good. Love it. Well, Earl, thank you for all the wisdom this week. Thank you, ChatGPT, for making the show easy for us and enjoyable. And of course, thanks everyone for watching. We really appreciate it. Oh, I was going to shout out. I actually checked over on Facebook where we're live. We actually had two. Oh, of course, it's gone now. Hang on. We had two love reactions, two heart reactions
Oh, cool.
uh,
Fantastic.
while the show was happening. So I assume those people are watching now.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Hopefully they stuck it out to the end. Shout out to the heck. Oh no, this is last week. Where's this week's? The live
Oh, I
one is
see.
not.
FXC Dominus and Kathleen gave us some heart emojis, so that's fantastic. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you to the FXC Dominus is actually Jomer. So Jomer, thank
Is
you.
it?
And
Is
Kathleen,
who?
thank Jomer, one of my business partners.
Okay. What's up, Jomer?
He's all the way in the Philippines watching this. So
Fabulous. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for the heart reacts. It's what we thrive on. Thrive on praise and attention.
there you go.
We're like little puppies.
All right. Then obviously thank you for being an awesome co-host, and thank you for the fart jokes. And now today was burp jokes. So
Burp
and then
jokes.
now we're gonna have to try that Sprite challenge together.
We're doing it.
Okay.
All right.
I'm wrapping it up. Here
Bye,
we go.
everybody.
Thanks all.
Thanks for listening to Earl and the Idiot. We hope you learned something you can take action on this week. For more information or to contact the show, visit earlandtheidiot.com. And until next time, remember what Shakespeare said. The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool.